What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to the What's Up, Yuma radio show. I am Johnny Porter, and
I'm Ronnie.
And we are here with the. I can't hear myself.
Me neither.
A little bit. I was getting feedback. There we go. We're back. It's live radio. This is what we do.
We'll figure it out.
On the go.
Yeah. And we are here joined today, as promised, by the Fort Yuma Champ 2025. That's who he is. Show off your bling.
Ooh,
there you go.
I love it.
Yeah. And you are the president of Fort Yuma Rotary.
Correct.
And so I asked recently around the interwebs, and I said, who's responsible for this amazing thing happening at the Yuma Children's Center? And everybody said, well, Juan, of course. Like, duh, don't you know? And I felt like I was out of the loop. But Juan, you are the president. And we just heard off air earlier. Today's your last day as the president, though.
Pretty much. Tomorrow, the wonderful Darlene Firestone takes over the role. We did a wonderful event a couple of weeks ago for her induction. It's called Trip to Nowhere. If you saw it all over socials, it was a fun event. But yeah, I'm actually glad to be here. Thank you for the invite.
We caught you on your last day.
Yes, indeed.
So what's the year been like?
Yeah.
It's been a roller coaster, I'll tell you that.
Okay. Explain.
Well, the Fort Yuma Rotary Club is a wonderful organization, a local organization. It's made completely out of volunteers and out of people of the community, but it's not just people. Truly, it's made out of leaders in our community that decide to donate their time, their efforts, and their money in support of Yuma.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why it's been a roller coaster is because I was elected 2 years ago. So we elect a year ahead. So you act as president-elect for a year, so you can learn the ropes, right? But when I decided on day one, I said, you know what? How about we go for a very big, audacious, and almost impossible to reach goal, which was on top of the many activities that we already do, we're going to raise $100,000 to donate to the indoor playground.
So that was initiated right when you started. That was something that you wanted to do almost from day one of you being elected the president of Rotary.
Well, because what happened is our club has we're on year 62 coming up, right? And about 8 years ago, the members of the club actually donate a playground to a couple of elementary schools in town. So I wanted to go back to that. I wanted to go back to listen, what would it take to go back to donating playgrounds? And looking in town, we have some amazing parks. The city has really recently stepped up in some really cool playgrounds, but it's really hot. If you know about it.
Like, sorry, kids, we're staying inside.
If you guys haven't noticed.
If you haven't noticed, right. So it started with that idea. It's like, okay, so let's go and donate back to playgrounds to the schools. But it was like, wait a minute. As I drove around the playgrounds that we've donated in the past, I realized that, they were largely unutilized.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, like, can we do something indoors? Can we do something indoors? And at first I talked to a couple of people at the city and a couple of people at the county. And there's no space. Yeah. Even the city and the county don't have a space that's open not 24/7.
Yeah, but open enough to have activities come in, something similar to a playground.
Right.
It's not happening by the city alone. So how'd you find out about the Yuma Children's Museum?
It started because so 2 years ago, at the time that I was elected, I actually also started working from home. And which allowed me to actually pick up my daughter after school. And so I would pick her up and I would say, like, well, what are we doing after school? And I would try to go and get ice cream. And she goes to a local school in on Avenue B. As you turn around on 24th Street, there's this burger chain that it was always packed after school. Packed. You couldn't find a place to park. You have to stay online on Avenue B. Yeah. And I thought, all these parents are doing the same thing that I'm doing, which is right after school, I'm going to stop for a 99-cent ice cream cone. And then one time when the line was so far backed up that it started causing some traffic. I said, let's just get off. And that's when I got off and realized that no, people are actually taking their kids right after school to this burger place because there's no options.
Yeah.
Because they have something inside to be able to have the kids do.
And you see all these mothers just sitting in the tables with this meal and the kids running around. And I was like, I guess they didn't realize it was this popular, but the
Yeah.
reality is that there's no options.
Yeah.
So I went, after trying with the city and with the county, I approached this children's museum
Mhm.
because we've contributed to their efforts in the past. Our club has. And museums don't normally do this. Museums are about exhibits. They
Okay.
are about.
That's one thing that struck me when I first heard the children's museums
Mhm.
coming, and I'm like, well, that's going to be boring for these kids. Like, what are they going to do? It's a museum, you know. But that obviously was not the case because, like on the promo, my son begs me to go every single day.
And that's exactly what you think about museums, and it serves a purpose
Yeah.
because kids need to learn. But when I approach the director, she understood the need. She realized that because she's the one that explained to me what
Mhm.
children's museums are, right, and the intent that they have in cities. And I said, well, I think this doesn't align with your mission.
Mhm.
However, it aligns with the needs of the community.
Yes, exactly.
And the Children's Museum raised for close to a decade money to be where it was
able
today.
to launch.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a former Rotarian that passed away,
Mhm.
Kevin, he passed away a couple of years ago, and he was a big champion for the museum.
Mhm.
And so there was a seed there from Rotarians to make a difference in a big need that we have for kids here.
Yeah.
And she finally said yes. And I was like, okay, so we have
Yeah,
this.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah,
She gave us the yes.
But then it was like, oh, and how much is this going to cost? I mean, how expensive can it be?
Yeah. Oh.
And it's pretty expensive.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it's like, oh wow, it's
Mhm.
really expensive.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like when the price tag was the first time I felt the air out of my tires go psst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like now we have work to do.
Like now,
yeah.
wait,
Now the work begins.
$100,000.
Yeah.
I just felt like such an impossible task,
Yeah.
Mm.
and something that had never been done from our
Yeah.
club before. So
Okay.
I went back to the club and to the members and I said, well, can we do this?
Mm-hmm.
And at first, there was a lot of reasons why we couldn't do it.
Mhm.
There was, and that's normal. There's
Yeah.
reasons as to like, well, what happens if this happens? What if
Exactly.
we don't raise the money? What if we commit and then
Yeah.
suddenly we don't have the money?
Yep.
And what if we do a fundraiser and then it
Mhm.
rains and then we don't raise money from the fundraiser?
Yeah.
So there's all these reasons of the potential things that could go bad.
Yes.
And that's a little bit more air like,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah. You're like, everyone's so negative.
like, oh my gosh, is
Yeah.
this
But they're
gonna
realistic.
happen?
Like any of those things could
Right,
happen, but
correct.
the what ifs could not also happen. So
And that's kind of
Gotta go
what
for
led
it.
me on.
Yep.
There's this idea of, well, you know what? Let's give it a shot.
exactly.
What's it going to take to make it happen?
Mhm.
And we set up a plan, and we reached out to the community. Part of the money was raised through the activities that we do. So
Mhm.
we do 3 activities every year to raise money,
Okay.
or 3 big events.
Yes.
One of them.
So you're
is-
talking activities or events.
Correct.
Okay.
So we do 3 fundraising events. One of them is we do this wonderful night golf tournament, which is
Mm.
called Par Under the Stars.
Cool.
We do the Penitentiary Pint Fest, beer festival,
Yeah.
Nice.
And then-
I've hosted that a couple of
Correct.
times. Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been there.
yeah. So
and,
I know
and
about it.
a little bit. And then we do the Mardi Gras on Main Street event.
Oh yeah, we all know that one.
Yeah, it's a great event.
That's huge.
And we've been doing it for over
Yeah.
20 years now.
Cool.
So
And like I never knew you guys put that on.
indeed,
so now I
indeed.
do.
Now you do.
Very
And
cool.
all the money that we raise goes straight back to the community.
Yes.
So what we did is I didn't want to affect the efforts that we do. So for example,
Mhm.
last year we donate over $20,000 in college scholarships.
Wow.
We do another $20,000 in supporting other nonprofits in
Mhm.
town. So it had to be, okay, we're going to raise $100,000, but
Mhm.
you can't take away
Mhm.
from
Yes.
the ones that you've already been doing.
That's right.
Yeah. So this
So-
has to be additional money.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why it was so
That's where all
scary.
the fear came from.
Right.
Like, how can we fund all this plus this
Plus
huge
this
thing?
that we
So
already do.
it's something new and scary, but you guys did it.
And we did it. And it
It's
was because of the
amazing.
community.
Yes.
Honestly, we started knocking on some doors with some
Mhm.
big organizations. The Arizona Community Foundation, it's a nonprofit as well in town that actually through endowments, they raise funds to give back to the community. And they were the first place that I knocked a door on.
Wow.
Is that the one that does the Heart of Yuma?
Correct. the Heart of Yuma.
Yeah, okay.
The wonderful Veronica Shore. She's an amazing person.
Hey, that's my name.
Yeah, but not the short part.
Well, not the
but,
short
yeah.
part, right?
Yeah.
But you're also amazing, Ronnie,
Oh,
of
thank you
course.
so much.
Man,
But I will say Veronica gives a lot of money to other
Oh, yeah.
nonprofits. I think
You're gonna have to get
that's-
money.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
but go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
sorry.
but the Arizona Community Foundation started this pot with $25,000.
Wow.
And then the yes started rolling in.
Yep.
I created this campaign of this
So-
little, this email where it was like, hey,
Mhm.
hi, I'm Juan with the Fort Yuma Rotary Club.
Mhm.
Would you mind donating $1,000? And that's
Okay.
kind of what it was. And then it became, well, I can do 1,500. I
Mhm.
can do 3,000. I can do 2,500.
Yes.
I could do 500, but it was nobody said I can't do any money.
Yeah. No one said no.
No one
Mhm.
said no.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
I think this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
People really want a place to take their kids. Like-
Right.
and it's definitely happening. I was just there. I saw the
Cool.
Fort Yuma,
Indeed.
the Rotary thing above it. It's kind of closed off, so the construction's happening right now.
Yeah.
Construction is happening. Closing down that space has been the most difficult thing
Mhm.
because the
okay.
kids are always trying to sneak behind the door.
Yeah,
It's like
I was trying to
dangerous.
sneak. I was going to sneak behind the door when I was there, but I was like, I probably shouldn't because I'm a public figure. People are going to be like taking videos or pictures. Like, look what he's
Johnny's
doing.
trespassing.
Yeah.
You guys
no, I
got to
don't-
give little heart
Right.
ads
Yeah,
to all
I-
the kids.
Yeah,
But it's not that. It's just that. So
Yeah.
it's a whole funny story. The build up, it's a funny
You know what?
story.
We'll
so
be
we need to
back
talk
with
about that.
We'll talk
Yeah.
a little bit more
Back with the
about that.
Yeah.
We'll get more into depth on what Rotary does and talk about that a little bit more after some short words from some of our sponsors and right here on 94.7 KOFA Yuma.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Yuma Electric Service, LLC, serving the Yuma area for more than 25 years. Specializing in residential and commercial wiring, services also include EV charging unit installs and solar-ready service panel upgrades. Information and consultation appointments at yumaelectricservicellc.com.
Hearing voices.
I believe it was in 47, the first real picnic I remember my mama and them giving. We lived it down there in the Delta part of Mississippi.
Stars and Bars, the Hearing Voices tribute to summertime in America.
We have Krishna camp, a Buddhist camp, a Jesus camp. We're going to have an Elvis camp.
They're expecting like 50,000 people.
Stars and Bars from Hearing Voices.
Friday morning starting at 10 here on Border Radio, KOFA.
Exactly how does Border Radio bring you some of the most incredible music on the planet? Listener support. Donations from people who care. Your support is an investment in the powerful idea that handcrafted songs from yesterday and today should be accessible, relevant, and always playing for everyone. Visit borderradioaz.org to support the music, and thanks.
Good morning. This is Cecilia Holland Braithwaite from the KAWC Newsroom. Yesterday, Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs vetoed legislation designed to help Arizona expedite election results. The governor said she could not accept a provision she said could penalize some voters who wait until the last minute to cast their ballots. Full details at kawc.org. It's currently 89 degrees in Yuma, expecting a sunny, breezy day with a high of 105 degrees, clear tonight with a low of 79.
The KAWC Student Newsroom is funded by the Local News Initiative at the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona, the Scripps Howard Fund, and by generous local support. Thank you for supporting the next generation of public media. Learn more about the project and hear stories from emerging journalists at kawc.org/student newsroom.
All right. What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to the program. We are here with the president, last day as president of the Fort Yuma Rotary. We're talking a little bit about what you guys did to help raise money, which seemed like a big task at the beginning, but you did it. And construction is happening right now because of you and your team over at the Yuma Children's Museum.
Correct. Officially past president. I think we just make it official.
Yeah, just
okay. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's all right.
The old president.
The old
Yeah.
president.
Are you sad about that? Or are you like ready to go?
No, it's sad just because So we meet every week, and you have to be there every week. You have to
Okay.
be there. You have to be the first one in and the last one out.
Wow.
So I got into a rhythm already.
Yep.
So at first,
In a
it was
year, but went by
difficult.
fast.
Right.
And now
then-
you're like, wait, I already have to leave? Can I stay one more year?
But at the same time, now I get to, I don't have to be there on time.
Yeah.
I can be there 5 minutes before the meeting starts instead of
Yes.
30 minutes. Like
Yeah.
we've had an institute one time where we had a guest that didn't show up. It's like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's
That'll probably
stressful.
happen here occasionally. We're like,
Right.
what do we do?
That's why I figured you guys would relate. But also, no more racing $100,000. I'm
Yes.
not trying-
Not like that's easy or anything.
right. Now it's like, listen, somebody else is in charge now.
But that's such a huge thing to say when you were in presidency that you did that. That's a cool way to go out.
It is, but I will tell you this. A leader is only as good as the people that are underneath that person.
True.
And I never saw it as, oh, this is my thing.
Yes.
I felt like there were a lot of people that every couple of days I would get a text message, an email,
Mhm.
just that would reach out in support of that.
Yeah.
And I feel that I don't know that I would have been able to do it without my
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
members.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It takes a team. It takes
Right.
it takes a whole team to be able to do it, and that's cool that you recognize that and you're acknowledging it.
Well, because otherwise, I mean, obviously, you don't want to seem like
Yeah.
like that kind
Yeah.
of person. But truly, I could not have done it without my fellow Rotarians, and I'm very
Aw,
proud of
very
each and every
sweet.
single one of them.
Good.
Yeah, and so for people that don't know, I want to get into a little bit more about what is Rotary and
Mm-hmm.
how could you, as a citizen and a community member, get involved. So can you talk a little bit about
Fort
that?
Yuma Rotary Club is one out of 9 clubs that exist in Yuma County.
Okay.
And there's so many because they meet at different times and on different days. So
Mhm.
there's some clubs that are as small as 10, 12 people
Mhm.
and as large as 70 people.
Oh, wow.
So our club meets on Thursdays at the Civic Center for
Mhm.
lunch.
Mhm.
You can come to a lunch. We meet every Thursday.
I can get lunch.
You
I
can
like
Is it
food.
free?
so
there
yeah.
you go.
No,
it's not free.
It's not free though.
It's
No,
not
no,
free.
yeah.
But
Oh, dang.
if you know a fellow Rotarian, there's a big chance that they will actually buy you lunch because that's
Oh.
kind of like how we recruit. We invite
Oh.
people in.
It's like,
Hey,
we have food.
Food's
We have
the
food.
answer. Just come eat a little bit. Like,
And the Civic Center does amazing. Chef Juan, oh
Yes,
my gosh, my
yes.
respect to him.
Yeah, Art
That's
invited
right.
me. Art Morales.
Right.
I think that's the one that you're a part of, right?
Well, no, I'm actually part of the other one.
Oh, okay. Well, Art invited me to one, and I went and I had the food, and I was like, this is
Really
tempting.
nice.
Yeah.
But that's the beginning, right? The beginning is we meet every Thursdays and we usually have a speaker that comes and talks
Oh,
to our
cool.
club. But then on Thursdays, we plan what we're going to do, right?
Okay.
So there's a structure around it and there's committees. There's a committee for each one of the activities.
Mhm.
And then we just get together and talk and do fun things, right? So
Cool.
if you want to, if you really have that bug of like, you know what, I want to give back,
Mhm.
just come to our lunch on Thursdays. One of the activities that we do is we do a back to school event where we partner with a big local retailer with a red box. I don't know if we can tell.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's enough.
Enough, right?
Yeah.
But so this retailer actually opens the store just for us at 8:00, and we go in through the mission,
Mhm.
Amberley's Place and Crossroads Missions.
Oh, wow.
We're going to take 50 kids shopping for
Wow.
back to school.
Holy
Wow.
smokes.
And it's a really fun thing because what it is okay, so the club is going to give each one of those kids a $150 gift card.
Yeah.
JCPenney is going to extend an additional discounts that they already have on the back to school.
Mhm.
They'll open the store just for these 50 kids.
Wow.
And the kids are going to be able to shop without their parents.
Oh, wow.
It's
They
the store-
get to go pick out
Now
what they
that's
want.
what's cool.
And
Like-
Johnny was there last year.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
I was there.
It
Yeah,
was
Cool.
we were giving out sodas and drinks and stuff like that
Yeah.
for the kids. Have some refreshments.
Oh, how cute.
But it's it's a great event in that, I mean, last year I had 2 stories that are really a little heartbreaking. One of
Mhm.
them was like, some of these kids have never even been inside the
Yeah.
store.
Exactly.
But there were a couple of teenagers that their car broke down and they
Mhm.
couldn't come in. So I said, well, listen, let's just shop for them and then take a bag of clothes. And I tap a couple of Anna and Paulina to help me with that. But then another Rotarian said, well, where do they live? Let's go pick them up.
Yeah.
Okay. So we drove, we picked them up. They came back. It was after the event because the 2 hours had passed. So I stayed behind. And then when I see their clothes, I see that they're just buying like undergarments.
Okay.
And I was like, well, do you want to buy like a chain, some jewelry? There were
something
right?
else, yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
besides that.
And there were sisters and they said, no, because we usually buy our clothes at the Goodwill and we hate having to buy used undergarments.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And it's like, oh my God.
That is heartbreaking.
I mean, because if you think about it, when you were 12, 14, you're not thinking of those things.
No.
And the fact that these two girls had to go through that and have an opportunity, think about it. I can buy whatever I want at JCPenney, $150, and all I bought
it's undergarments.
there was not a single beauty item, a cream, a lipstick, none of those things. And it just broke my heart to realize, like, listen, that is the reality, but that's what we do, the things that we do.
I was going to say that might be the sad part of it, but you're doing such a service.
So if you want to be part of that, join us on a Thursday, learn more about it, find a friend, become a friend with a Rotarian, and then the Rotarian can nominate you to become a member.
Okay.
Our membership is $65 a month. However, the $65 covers the 4 meals that we have.
Okay. So you pay for the food and you get to be a part of this.
Stay for the fun.
Yeah.
And the giving back and the warmth that brings you to help others.
We give back. Yeah. It's quite an interesting event. And we are coming up, finishing the children's playground. The buildup is almost done. We're waiting on 2 slides that are coming from across the pond.
I was going to ask you, so like, what's the date?
Well,
it might be open.
We were hit by this whole issue that happened with tariffs and delayed everything in the ports. So the boat that actually has the 2 slides, it's coming into San Diego, I believe on July 8th or 9th.
Okay.
So by the time enough loads and everything, maybe by the end of the month, we'll probably be able to be done with it.
So we don't have a launch date yet.
No.
We don't, because we are at the mercy of logistics.
Of the boat.
Of the boat delivery.
Okay. Yeah. And the tariffs and stuff. But so thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. One more time, if somebody wants to get involved, how do they reach out to get involved?
So the Fort Yuma Rotary Club is available on our website. You can visit fortyumarotary.org. You can also find us on Facebook, find us on, and also find us in the community. We're out every day doing activities, and hopefully you believe that you want to do more for the community and join us.
We
join
really
us.
appreciate
I really appreciate it.
Yes.
I learned a lot today,
Me
and
too.
I would love to take part in your Rotary. And with that, we are done. What's Up Yuma Radio is produced in partnership with KAWC Colorado River Public Media. We broadcast from the KAWC studios and the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma.
Go Matador.
We want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, technical advisor,
Talon.
Anthony Arnales, video production advisor, Juan Garcia, social media advisor, Jim Anderson, and executive producer, Dave Reek.
And you can find out more about KAWC at kawc.org and on Facebook at KAWC Radio. And stay tuned following our program for the KOFA Midday Music Mix.
And on tomorrow's show, it's Bob Lutz from Lutz, a.k.a. Cowboy Bob.
Woo! That's going to be a wild show.
Yeah,
All right.
you can listen to the podcast version of this program anytime. Check for episodes at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio. I think we got it all in.
We got it in.
We got it.
I want to see Bob.
I can't breathe.